Hello, I am Scott Henderson, aka Scotty Hendo, and this is day 4 of the 5-day series, Feed Your Roots Today, How Leaders Lead in Troubled Times. I'm glad that you're taking a few minutes of your time to spend with me, to share insights with you about what you can do to help lead your teams that are going through all this change and all this upheaval, and we'll go from there. So, quick recap. Remember, we're talking about feed your roots. We're emulating the spirit of prairie plants, which are 70% root structure. That's why they're so resilient. We're also learning from people who've been through war zones and horrible places like concentration camps and what it took for them to survive. And what we learned is the Admiral Stockdale paradox, which is we recognize the challenges that we have ahead of us and we hold out hope that will make it through. So it's about being balanced and saying, hey, this is a huge challenge that we've got to overcome, and we can do it. Because we can do it. We're human beings. We come from an unbroken chain of survivors. So you have it in you. It's just about pulling it out of you. And we've been learning about how much the ancient parts of our brain, the lizard part of the monkey brain, really messes up because it sends us through a lot of stress and cortisol. And it's about bringing breath as a wedge so we can reassert the neocortex and think, because it's not about escaping a tiger or a bear. This is about outthinking a virus, a little microscopic little thing. So we've got to do a lot of thinking there. And the way we do that is we embrace what Viktor Frankl told us, which is we have the freedom to choose. And if we choose something that's rooted in purpose, we will endure. So it's creating space through breath, having the freedom to choose, and rooting that choice in a purpose greater than ourselves. So then yesterday, we talked about the beautiful thing of the social circles that Robin Dunbar taught us, which we have about 50 people in our lives that help us stay kind of sane, and you're probably missing them. So I'm curious if you made your 2 or 3 calls since you saw the last video. If not, you should do that today. Reach out to them and share whatever you're feeling, and be able to identify with them what's going on. So today is all about the mantra: chop the wood, carry the water. Now, this was a mantra that my father, who's a retired psychiatrist, gave to me as I was going through a separation and a divorce, and he was reminding me that you have to think about the vital habits that you need to attend to so that you don't fall into this bog of all the stuff that you're dealing with emotionally when you're going through difficult times. Chopping the wood, carry the water is a reminder that there are some daily activities that just have to happen. You can't have a fire if you don't have firewood. You can't cook and you can't drink if you don't have water. So those were the things. And so as I was looking at this, I'm guessing that your routine's probably just out the door, right? You're working from home most likely. You've got kids maybe. And it's just craziness, and you're not going through your regular cycle. You're not going through the drive-thrus you used to on your way to work. You're not enjoying yoga classes. You're not you're not doing the things that you normally are doing. So it's a matter of looking at what kind of routines can you put in place, and how do we learn? Well, we can learn from other people who've been through this kind of stuff. So let's start with the morning, right? I really like having a morning routine. I'm not a routine guy most of the time, but I find that having a morning routine gets me out of bed and gets me kind of on this autopilot of just coming through some things I have to do. So I follow the Navy SEALs advice, and I make my bed right when I get out of it. And so I've already checked off the first thing in my box. Then I do my stretches and my yoga and my meditation. I also read on a daily basis. I'm reading Daily Stoic. I also read some other books. I'm just feeding my mind. And in the first hour and a half of my day, I've already done amazing things for myself to get myself grounded and get me going. Now, if we can study the rest of the day, we can get some clues from people who were on International Space Station, lived on submarines, Arctic expeditions, people who've done house arrest, people who've gone through chemotherapy. It's all about a couple things. One, establishing a routine, having a schedule, set schedule. You can see over my shoulder, I've actually redone my whole schedule, and I put a different chore every day. I wasn't doing chores, but I live in this apartment about 95% of the time now, so it gets a little dirtier, so I have to take care of it. So I'm doing little things every day. I'm also, the green stuff, as I mentioned yesterday, are the people that I'm calling that day. And I've scheduled out in a 2-week period. I don't think beyond 2 weeks is anything more than a mirage at this point. I just want to think, what's this week and next week look like? And I put it there. So you see my recurring themes are right here, the blue things, and then these are the 2 weeks. So you can learn a lot from the links that are in the blog post at causeShift.com/blog. And you'll find that the themes are basically very simple. Keep a schedule, call people, clean, enjoy art and literature. You know, that whole idea of us being emotional meat bags. Oh, this best thing about art and literature is it's the expression of emotion. So you can listen to a great piece of music, you can read an amazing poem, you can look at beautiful visual art, and it just speaks to that emotional meat bag that's inside of you and help calm you down and make you feel human again. So I highly recommend going to the blog, reading through and figuring out what you do, but even having like the set, you know, like a set schedule for your meals so that you have Taco Tuesday, fish on Friday, do stuff that kind of keeps you in a rhythm so the whole family unit or just yourself can at least have something to look forward to. And plus, you know what day it is based on what you're eating. So those are just a couple tips, a couple advices, some things, but definitely what you want to do is look at the routines that have been completely disrupted and what can you do to help bring back some structure, because that's really what you're going to need in your life is structure. And then the last thing I want to talk about in terms of chop the wood and carry the water is your nighttime ritual, because we have the monkey and we have the lizard that's on the merry-go-round. And, you know, if you're having trouble sleeping, this is a couple of tips that I'd give you on help calm the body. This is really about calming the mind and calming the body down so that you can get to sleep and boost your immune system, have better digestion, and have better cognitive ability throughout the day. So if you like, there's always the old hot bath technique, which gets the body temperature up. If you do it right before bed, it'll bring it down and it'll kind of kick off the sleep hormone cascade. But definitely, regardless of what technique you're using, use good hygiene. Go to bed about the same time. Don't have a bunch of people, you know, kids or animals sleeping in the bed. Put your screens down. Don't look at screens. And definitely calm yourself down. Read, journal, do something just to kind of get your mind off that merry-go-round. And then if you don't do hot baths, then try the yoga technique of the wall pose. You can check it in the link above in the post. But basic idea is you go to the corner of the wall, you put your bum down on the wall, and you put your legs up, and you just let your legs up. And what that does is it actually gets the automatic systems, the parasympathetic systems of the body to slow down and actually gets you going into that sleep mode. Or you can use the U.S. Air Force research, a tested and proven technique that if you've ever done any kind of meditation, sleep meditation, it's that same thing. It's breathing in and out, as we talked about breath. Breathe in and out and just focusing right here, and then relaxing all of your body as a ripple effect of all the way cascading all the way to your toes, and just breathing, focus on your breath. And if you can clear your thoughts for about 10 seconds, you'll be out like a light. Works for me all the time. I never make it past my hips. I'm always falling asleep by that time. So those are you know, things to think about. You know, this idea of chop the wood, carry the water. Highly recommend you look at your routines and think about what do you need to be shifting to create new structures to, you know, conform to the new realities that you're facing, because you really need that right now. You really need that sense of security. So not only is this good for you, but it's also good for you to look for your team members and encourage them to do the same thing for them at their house, in their households. And look at, if you're running a company or running a team, look at the routines that your team have and ask yourself, which of these can I pull back? Because it's okay to slow things down to allow for that security base to be put in place there. So hope you're enjoying this. As I said, day 4, we got one more day to go. Definitely would love to hear your thoughts, your ideas, your routines, your lessons learned after 3 weeks of working from home. And this new post-pandemic reality that we're in. Put them in the comments below. And if you're finding this useful, share it with a friend. It'd be great. I'm looking forward to finishing out the week with you, finishing strong tomorrow on day 5. So stay home, stay healthy, wash your hands, spread the word, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.